Okay, so what we're doing, we're continuing with our statistical diagrams. So we've done your bar charts, and these diagrams are used to do what? Do you remember?
They're used to sort out data.
Are you sure that the diagrams are used to sort out
Oh wait, no,
bar charts?
They're used to show the data.
Okay. What were you going to say? You're going to say the same. Okay, so basically, you do have to record and sort the data. Okay, so for instance, this data I've got here is called raw data. Yeah, so it's just data that's been collected, and it's a maths test. Is marked out of 50, and the marks test are shown below. Okay, right. So, can I ask, if we've got that data, what might we want to know from that data? What's the average? Okay, would we need a diagram to work out the average? No, which average would you like to work out?
Let's do with the mode.
The mode, you choose the
No,
mode.
actually, we're going to do the mean.
Okay, the mean, you think. Why not the mode?
Because I don't think there's a lot of numbers that repeat.
Yeah, because they're all different, aren't they, modes? But what else could we work out?
We could do a bar chart saying the people that had the mark between 6 and 8, and
Yeah.
6 and 10, and then you record.
Yeah. So we put the bar. Why would we want to do that? Is the question. Why would you want to do it? It's good. We could do that definitely.
See how many people are getting good scores and how many people are getting bad scores, and if there are many people getting bad scores, then you might want to change your working, your teaching method.
Yeah, spot on. Spot. Yeah. Bar chart, if we did them, put them in groups, and yeah, you're right. If too many people got low scores, and you'd see that very clearly from a bar chart, wouldn't you? You have to do something about it, don't you?
You have to tutor them.
Yeah, we'd have to do something about it. But it's about, like you said, it's about looking at what we call the distribution of the data, how it's spread out, okay? And you want to draw conclusions. So we want to show our data in a way that enables us to do that. So bar chart's one way. The reason why I've gone from bar chart to stem and leaf, because I think when you see a stem and leaf, you'll realise just actually how close it ends up being to a bar chart. So that's why I've gone to this one, and I've skipped pie charts things at the moment, because this will look like a bar chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through how we use a stem and leaf diagram first to order our data, like I said, put it in some sort of order, and then it will display things that we need to know. Alright, so there's two parts to a stem and leaf. Alright, obviously, well, what do you think they are? The two parts of a stem and leaf. A stem and a leaf. So we have a stem and leaves. Okay, so what we've got to do when we look at our data and we want to do a stem and leaf diagram, we've got to sort out what the stem is going to be. Alright, so when I draw my stem and leaf diagram, I start with, I'm going to draw my line. I draw a line, and this is what my stem is going to be. Right? So on the left hand side, doesn't always have to be on the left, is my stem. And what I have to do is I have to come up with a way of listing all these numbers, but in an efficient way, so that I'm not repeating things. And if we know about number, place, value, we can see that there are certain things that are repeated quite often in these numbers. And that would be the tens. Okay? So for instance, we've got some 40s. Okay? Yeah. We've got lots of tens.
Okay.
Yeah.
13, 14, 10.
Yeah. But you get the idea, yeah? We've got a 19, we've got a 10, 14, loads of 10s. We've got some 30s, okay?
What about the 15?
Yeah, I'm not ignoring them. Just, we've got. I could just highlight them all, couldn't I? But basically, we are repeating. So what I would like to do actually is I'm going to say, well, what is the highest one?
50.
So actually, the highest one is, you think 50s, is it? There's no 60s. So there's a 50. Okay. So the highest would be a 50. What's the lowest value of 10s?
6. Oh, 10. 10.
The lowest value of 10. It's not 10, it's actually
Negative 1.
0, because we've got 0, 8,
I was thinking of
0, 6. We don't write it, but now,
What about 7? Because it's below there.
yeah, is that the same? Where's 7?
It doesn't say
0, 7. Okay, that's not right. So basically, I've decided the biggest numbers, well, it's the 10s, the 20s, the 30s. They're the things that repeat. So it'd be nice to not have to keep writing those out. So my stem is going to be those 10s. Now it could change. It could be hundreds or it could be units. You'll see when we get to different ones. But what I do is I put the highest value of 10 in there. So was a 5, yeah? And then I put the others. So 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's important that I do include the 0. Need to make my mind up. Okay.
Because that's with a blind, because it's kind of reflecting on the ball and I can't see. That's better.
Okay, so I've got my stems. What I've got to do now, like with tally charts, I go through all my numbers now and I put them into my stem and leaf diagram. So my stem is sorted, okay, and then I put my leaves in. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna do that. Okay, I've made it a bit difficult. So I'm going to go through each one now. So 7 is 0 and 7. So I'm going to put next to the 0, I'm going to put a 7. So that one's done. Then next to the 3, I'm going to put a 6, but I'm going to make sure that I line them up. The first ones have to go. 41, so 4, 1. So can you see how it's 41, 36, 7, okay? Right, now the next one though is a 39. So I've got 36 already, but what I do, instead of having to have another 30, I just put a 9. Yeah, what we have to do, it's very important that we keep everything lined up. So I've got 27, why is this changing? 27, 21, so 20. So the second one has to line up with the second one there. Okay? You get it? Now one thing I can do now, which I must do, is when I have all this finished, I've got to put a key on it so that I understand. And I can write, pick any of these, I'm going to do 3 line 6 means 36. So we've got a key. No, it's just, that's it, that's now done. So what I'm going to get you to do is using the numbers, and what I'll do is I'll put them on the board for you cleanly, right? I want you to do your stem and leaf. Now don't worry about putting them in order. Just go one after the other, or go down if that's what you prefer, and just put the number in. What you do afterwards is you redraw it, but put the numbers in order, and you'll find that much easier way to do it. Okay, question?
What if the number repeats itself? What if there are many 31s?
Right, you put every single one in. Just like if there's a 31 and another 31, it's in this list. You have to have the same numbers.
Oh, there is another.
So we're writing the same numbers, just in a different way. So they all have to be there. Okay? So let me find the table for you, and then you can draw. But you can set up your stem already.
So it's just a line.
Just a line and
So
the
if you would
10.
have to have
more numbers, like let's say going up to 100 maybe, then you would have
A longer stem. Exactly.
Can our stem be really short? Like, is this enough for?
So, what I've got, which hopefully you're getting there, so even if you're not, if you just pay attention to the screen rather than right at the moment, what I probably should have done is maybe give you the notes, right? What you do next is you take the stem and leaf diagram and you put each row in order. So you put all the 40s in order, so 1, 5, 5, 6, 9.
Okay.
All the 30s in order, 1, 1, 2, 6, 6, 9, for instance. Okay? So you don't have to put all of these in order, starting with 0 at the bottom or anything. So you've already kind of put it in order halfway because you've put all the no 10s in one line, all the 110s in one line, the 210s. So you kind of already ordered it in that way. You've grouped it. Now you're going to put those groups in order, so it makes it easier to do. Okay? So that's the next stage for you to do. So let me just say what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to redraw this underneath. I'm going to use this one. You might think it's a lot of work, but do you know what? It's better to do it right. Okay. Will mine fit on the same page? Let's have a look. So going to do my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just. So yeah, it should be done quite quickly now. So my 50s, well, it's just still going to be a 0. That's all I've got. The 4s, so 1 was first, then I've got 2 5s, so I can cross them off if I want, then a 6, then a 9. So it should get done quite quickly.
There was actually 3 5s.
Those we crossed them off.
Was there? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you, whatever numbers you've got.
So if you were doing a square test, would you just draw it out right the first time, or would you have to do it not in order and then?
Well, it's up to you. The reason why I would always do it like this way, do both, is then I don't make a mistake. What you try and do is if you go straight to the one in order, you might be able to do it, but I think actually it takes longer and you'll probably make a mistake.
Mr. Potts in 4, there's 2 9s. So there's 3 5s and then... No, there isn't. No, there isn't. I mean, there's 9.
Right, so, sorry my stem and leaf diagram has just disappeared, but
You can get 9.
thank you, that's not on my screen. Your stem and leaf diagram. Now, what I'm going to do, just because I don't want it to take, can you tell me, so I can fill this one in now, what you have as the numbers? So I remember, so it's 5 0, 0, 4.
Or do I do the whole list?
Yeah, 4, just the 4s. 1.
5, 5, 6, 9.
Okay. Santasia, number 3.
Okay, 1, 1, 2, 6, 9.
Okay. Annabelle? 2s.
Oh, 2. 1, 3, 4, 4, 5, 7.
1, 3, 4.
4, 5, 7.
I did 0.
Do we agree? Ava? Ava?
0, 2, 3, 4, 7, 7, 8, 9. I agree.
There's one more too. There's one too many 7s.
No, there's 3 7s.
Imogen?
6, 7, 8.
6, 7, 8. Okay. So we've got our stem and leaf diagram. Now, just to say, I'm going to ask you some questions now using your stem and leaf diagram. See whether you get. Now, can you first of all tell me what the mode for these math scores would be? Sierra? 17, because?
There's 3 17.
Okay, so there's 3 17s. Right, I'm glad you said there's 3 17s because some people might actually say It's 7
7.
because there's
There's 5 sevens.
5 sevens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sevens. They would say the mode is 7. But because you guys know that actually stem and leaf diagram, that 7 is not a 7, is it? It's 17. No, so the mode out of all of these is 17. Okay.
How do you know? Because there's a 7 in
Well, that's what I was just saying. This 7 is not a 7. So you can't look for all the 7s. What you do is you look down the lists and go, right, there's 3 7s in a row in this list, which makes 17. But is there 3 or more of any other number in any of the lines? And if there isn't, but they have to be in the same line. Because this 6 doesn't go with those 2 6s, they're different numbers. Right, what about the median? Because obviously, from our songs, the median, you have to do what before you put them in order? And we have them in order. So, how many numbers have we got?
30.
30. Anyone work out which one the middle number would be then?
It's 24.
Which number is it though? Which position? Are you sure it's the 15th?
No, it's 50.5.
It's the average of the 15th and 16th, isn't it?
I would get it.
Right, the reason is, I'll do it this way. Right, come on, ladies, come on. I'm happy you're chatting about it, but let's, just for anyone that's not getting it, the median is the middle value. So one way to do it is to work in from the outside. So if you're not sure why, if there are 30 numbers, it's the middle of the 15th and 16th. Well, let's show it. So for instance, if I cross off the end, the first one end, the maximum, and then I cross off the minimum, which is the 6. Then I do the next highest, which is the 9, 7, 6, 8.
5, 9.
Are you sure? No. Have to go up from the bottom, right?
Let's go in to out in the bottom.
So we have to go up from the bottom. We have to go down from the top. So I've got 4, 4,
5, 2,
5, 2, 1, 3.
4, 9.
So the 4 goes with the 9.
7 goes with the 6. 7 goes with the 6. Wait. 7 goes with the 2. 8 goes with the 1. 9 goes with the 1. 7 goes with the 1. 5 goes with the 3. And then we are left.
All right.
24 is
Hang on.
15.
So don't shout out. I've definitely got a question.
Well, I like instead of going down, like you have to go from each side. An easier way is just counting from one end, then you count 15. If you know there's 30, then you count 15, and then that number and the one next to it.
No, that is, like was said, to start with, is the easy way to do it. Why we did that was to show that actually, if you've got 30 numbers, the middle number is not the 15th, is it? People think it is though, because what do they do? 15 divided by 2 is 15. 30 divided by 2 is 15. But what that actually does, which you guys seem to really recognise, which is great, that splits into 2 halves. So you've got 2 lots of 15, but that's not the middle, is it? The 15th number. So actually, because we've got an even number, we've got 2 middle numbers. Actually, it's quite nice though, isn't it? Because they're both the same. So the median is 24, not 4.
Let's do the right here, and then where do you go next?
Say it again.
So like.
Okay, so 50 is the max. 0.6 is the minimum. So then I have to count down from the max. So 50, the next one is 49. So I would do that one. The next one up from 6 is 7.
Okay, yeah.
Count down, count up, count down, then we have to count up. Yeah, but it's quite tricky because people want to go to the end of both rows.
Wait, it's still technically.
Go on then, Maddie.
Can we do the rate?
Yeah, I was
Mr. Potts, it would still work if you wanted to do 6, 7, 8, and hop right to 19. The numbers would still match up. It would just be
Yeah. Okay, so because we've done this, the range is what?
44.
44, because we do 50, take away the 6. So 50, take away 6
No, but
is
6
40.
isn't the smallest number.
6 is the smallest number.
Oh, yeah. The mean is
Right, just to say, we don't normally worry about doing the mean after we've done a stem and leaf diagram, because actually you could have done the mean anyway.
the mean is the most.
But have you worked out the mean already?
Yes, it's 26.1.
26.1, you think?
Oh. Let me check, because I'm so check. It is.
Yeah, do we agree?
6 plus 7 plus 8.
Okay.
707.
Now I've got one more question, but I'll let you write those down first. Okay, so I asked you the question, how could we consider our stem and leaf diagram to be the same sort of idea as a bar chart? Okay.
If you flip it around, I think that's anti-clockwise.
Yeah, turn it around that way. I can't do that.
Nope, not 90 degrees. 40,
Yeah, 90 degrees
90
actually.
degrees.
Yeah,
it'll look like a bar chart.
yeah. We actually don't need to flip it around. We could just use it as a bar chart. So for instance, what I can do is colour it in. Oh, this is going to go, isn't it? Right, can't shade it because this is going to freeze. This bar would go up to that point. This bar would go up there. This bar. So which is the longest bar, Maya?
The 1 in the tens column.
Okay. The 1, the tens line would end up being the longest bar. So it's a bar chart, but it's horizontal. Okay. So I then said to you, what did I ask you to do that is very important, and you can now see why it's very important. Well, the numbers don't actually need to be in order to look like the bar chart. They do to do the median and everything. So that is actually, but to make it look like a bar chart and to use it as a bar chart, Anya.
Oh wait, no, I'm not sure.
Maya?
To keep the numbers in line and line.
Yeah. If so, if I don't line the numbers up like this, if I don't line the numbers up, obviously that messes up the bar. Okay? So, obviously, when we do this kind of thing, what we need to do at the end is have a conclusion. If these are test scores out of 50, what conclusion would you make about this class?
Most people in the class got scores that were in the 10 that had the first 20.
So we could say between 10 and 20. Although 20 would be here, so yeah, 10 and 19. Maddie?
My conclusion is that this class is not very smart.
They should be trying to set 3.
Yeah.
Except
Well, actually, let's be careful. We don't know. There's a lot we don't know because we weren't told. We only know it's out of 50. We don't know whether it was a set 1 or set 2 or set 3. We don't know what the test was about. So we can't make any conclusions.
really hard.
It's like, how fair would it be if I took a test from my IB2s, gave it to you, recorded your scores, gave it to another class to analyse, and they went, they're all stupid. You know what, really? So we can't make conclusions on how good they are. This is actually very important. You should all be paying attention. we can only make a conclusion on based on what we know. So we can say is it most people scored between 10 and 19?
Yes.
Well,
No, not the one with the longest spot.
Yeah, so more people scored 10 to 19 than any other range.
Yeah.
But actually, let's say, I think actually this group not done too badly, to be honest. Look, there's quite a lot in the 40s,
yeah, and
There's
lots in the
17.
30s.
There's
Some of them got
17 in 2, 3, 4, and 5. No, there's
It was
17 and 2, 3.
And also people like it could have been a mixture of people, like some people some
Yeah.
people stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know any. We can only conclude on things that we know. So there's a point for your communications, Maddie and Lauren.
The calculator has to take more time to think.
Right? You can't, when you write things about charts and things, write conclusions that you have no evidence for. Alright? You can't write all these people were not very clever.
Because there was one who got
Also, yeah, but we also don't know how hard the test was.
And we don't know if it was like, we don't even know if it was a math test. It might have been
the
something
teacher could
else.
have been really bad at teaching.
Yeah, let's blame the teacher. It's always the teacher.
No,
The teacher, we don't know who actually took the test. It could have been a teacher, like 7 babies, and 20 adults that didn't know anything.
So basically, what I'm saying is that you have to, if you don't have the information, don't make conclusions you can't justify.
Can I say something?
You normally do. Go on.
I said, so the first one is don't judge a book by its cover, and
Right.
the second one is it could be like, say, an English test, and the only reason they got a bad score is because they didn't write enough words, but it was still like a really good score. Like,
Yeah.
If you were to transfer that in like a proper bar graph, like
Yeah. So actually draw the bars. Yeah.
would you then add all the numbers in its rows together?
Well, actually, what would, if I turn this into a bar, it's a good question. If I turn this into a bar chart, I would need another axis going up here. What would that axis be called, Zuri? Caught you out, not paying attention. If I put an axis, like if I make it into a bar chart, sorry, I can't draw. I have to go across the top to make another axis. What axis would that be? It would be the Y, but what do we call it? No. No.
The independent run.
Frequency. And what would the frequency of this bar be?
0.
1, well done. What would the frequency of this bar be? 5. Would I, if I turned it into a bar chart, do anything with these numbers? No, they would just go. I would just count how many numbers. Now, there's another question there. Is a bar chart or our stem and leaf diagram, which one has more information? And why? Because...
It actually shows all the scores, not just how many people.
So you get the information a bar chart gives you, and you actually get all the scores as well. There's more information.
it also is way easier to find the mode, median, range.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, well actually with a bar chart you do something called an estimated median and things, but that's for further on. Okay, right, what I want you to do now, we've got 10 more minutes. I would like you to turn, I think it's 400, 300 and something. If you find stem and leaf, what page is it again? I did find 365.